Ever wonder what keeps a Sigma male up at night? Well, you're in the right place, folks. Today we're going to talk about the enigmatic, the mysterious, the elusive Sigma male, and the things that make them toss and turn in their beds. Now, for those of you who may not be familiar, Sigma males are often characterized as the lone wolves of the male personality types. They're independent, self-sufficient, and quite frankly, they'd rather be left alone. They're not interested in leading the pack like the alpha, nor are they interested in following it like the beta. No. The Sigma male is the guy in the corner of the cafe, sipping his coffee, engrossed in a hefty book, probably something by Nietzsche or Tolstoy. And while we're on the subject, let's just address the elephant in the room. Yes, we know that these personality types and labels are, well, a bit exaggerated and oversimplified, but hey, it's all in good fun. We're not here to pigeonhole anyone. We're just here to explore some interesting concepts and have a laugh or two along the way. Now back to our Sigma male. Picture him in your mind. He's independent to a fault. He values his solitude and freedom above all else. He's got a mind of his own and he's not afraid to use it. He doesn't need the approval or validation of others to feel good about himself. Sounds pretty cool, right? But as with all things in life, there's a downside. The Sigma male's independence and self-reliance can also be his Achilles heel. It can lead to isolation, loneliness, and a fear of dependency. But we'll get more into that later. For now, let's just appreciate the Sigma male for what he is. An enigma, a riddle wrapped in a mystery inside an enigma, as Winston Churchill might say. They're certainly a fascinating breed, these Sigma males. Now that we know who these Sigmas are, let's delve into their deepest, darkest fears. Buckle up, folks. It's going to be a wild ride. Imagine this, a Sigma male at a crowded party. Scary, isn't it? Now let's paint this picture a bit more vividly. Think about our friend. Let's call him Max, a certified Sigma, known for his independent spirit and love for solitude. One fine day, Max's extroverted friend, let's say Chad, decides to drag Max to one of those loud, overrated social gatherings, a party. Like an introverted chameleon, Max tries his level best to blend into the background, but alas, he's as noticeable as a polar bear in the Sahara. With every passing minute, Max's discomfort escalates. The blaring music feels like a construction site in his ears, the chit-chat around him sounds like an alien language, and the crowd feels like a stampede. Max is more out of place than a vegan at a barbecue. He starts to sweat, not from the heat, but from the social pressure cooking him from the inside out. While everyone is busy showcasing their dance moves or sharing their latest escapades, Max is on a reconnaissance mission to locate the quietest corner. He dreams of his safe haven, his solitary space, where the only noise is the sound of his thoughts. Chad, the party animal, is in his element, jumping around like a kangaroo on a sugar rush. He spots Max and makes a well-intentioned attempt to involve him, but this only amplifies Max's discomfort. It's like asking a fish to climb a tree. Max finally finds his escape route, the balcony. Yes, the serene balcony, his temporary refuge from the social tsunami inside. There he can finally breathe, finally think, finally be. In the end, Max realizes that he's not antisocial, he's just differently social. He relishes his independence, his solitude, and his own company. His idea of a party is a quiet evening with a good book or a deep conversation with a close friend. So, the next time you invite a Sigma to your party, don't be surprised if they choose their couch over your crowd. Ever seen a Sigma male cry? No? Exactly. Imagine a Sigma male, let's call him John, sitting down to watch a tearjerker movie. It's a story about a family dog who sacrifices its life to save its human family from a fire. Now, most people would be reaching for the tissues in the first half hour, right? But not our dear Sigma friend John. Oh no, he's not crying, he's analyzing. John watches as the dog nobly bounds into the burning house, but instead of feeling the emotional tug, he's wondering why the family didn't have a better fire safety plan. He's questioning the structural integrity of the house, or pondering why the dog didn't just bark to alert the family. He might even be calculating the probability of a house fire happening in the first place, or considering the dog's heroic act as an evolutionary survival mechanism. And when the inevitable tragic scene arrives, the one where the dog succumbs to smoke inhalation, John isn't sobbing into a pillow, nope. He's raising an eyebrow and asking, why didn't the firefighters have pet-sized oxygen masks? He's more likely to be critiquing the director's choice of sad music than to be shedding a single tear. Now let's be clear, it's not that Sigma males like John are heartless. They just have a different way of processing emotions, preferring logical analysis over emotional vulnerability. They might feel the sadness, but they're not going to let it wash over them uncontrollably. They'll rationalize it, analyze it, and compartmentalize it, and they'll certainly never let you see them cry. So next time you're watching a weepy movie with a Sigma male, don't expect to see any tears. Instead, brace yourself for a detailed analysis of the plot's feasibility, the director's choices, and maybe even a discussion on canine heroism. Remember, if a Sigma male tells you he cried during a movie, it's probably a lie, or the movie was about a lone wolf dying. A Sigma male asking for help? Now that's a horror story. Picture this. A Sigma male, let's call him Sam, is driving through a maze-like city, the kind that's all winding roads and dead ends. He's been circling the same block for what feels like the 10th time. The GPS is out of service, and there's not a map in sight. He's lost, but will he ask for directions? Not on your life. You see, Sam is the embodiment of the Sigma male archetype. He's independent, self-reliant, and has a certain disdain for societal norms like, asking for help when you're lost. Now, Sam is not a stubborn mule. He's just the kind of guy who'd rather spend an extra hour or two figuring things out on his own than admit he could use a little assistance. So, there he is, driving in circles, stubbornly refusing to ask for help. He's got enough fuel to keep going, and enough snacks in the backseat to survive a mini-apocalypse. The clock is ticking, the sun is setting, but Sam, our Sigma friend, is determined to find his way. He could stop at the next gas station and ask for directions, but no, that would mean admitting defeat, admitting dependency. Instead, he pulls over, dusts off an old compass from the glove compartment, and starts studying the stars like a sailor lost at sea. He might not get there fast, but he'll get there eventually. And when he does, he'll have the satisfaction of knowing he did it all by himself. This anecdote might sound ridiculous, but it's symbolic of the Sigma male's fear of dependency. They'd rather go to great lengths, sometimes absurd lengths, to avoid asking for help. It's not about pride or ego, it's about their inherent need for self-reliance. So, if a Sigma male asks you for help, know that it's their version of a nightmare. A bit dramatic perhaps, but hey, everyone's got their fears, right? Even the seemingly unflappable Sigma males. So what have we learned about our Sigma males and their fears? Well, where do we start? The Sigma male, our self-reliant introvert, the lone wolf, the guy who's probably sitting in his cave somewhere right now, avoiding people like they're a contagious disease. He's got a laundry list of fears, and let's be honest, some of them are pretty hilarious. First off, we've got the fear of large, social gatherings. Yes, the mere thought of a party, or heaven forbid, a networking event, sends shivers down the spine of a Sigma. Can you imagine? The horror, the chit-chat, the small talk, the laughing at bad jokes. It's a nightmare scenario. They'd rather endure a root canal than endure a room full of people. Then we have emotional vulnerability, or as I like to call it, the Voldemort of Sigma fears. It's the fear that shall not be named. The thought of opening up, sharing feelings, maybe even shedding a tear or two, it's like asking a cat to take a bath. It's just not going to happen without some scratches and a lot of hissing. And let's not forget the fear of dependency. Sigma males would rather walk 5 miles in the snow than ask for directions. The idea of needing someone else, leaning on someone else, it's just too much. They're like that stubborn IKEA furniture piece that you swear you can assemble without instructions until you're left with 3 screws and a lopsided bookshelf. So there you have it, folks. The fears of the Sigma male. A fascinating blend of introversion, independence, and just a little bit of stubbornness. It's a cocktail that can make for some interesting scenarios, and a whole lot of avoidance. In the end, Sigma males may be lone wolves, but remember, even wolves get scared sometimes, especially of parties, crying, and asking for directions.